Rick Holland said, "The world belongs to those who read." And it's also been said countless times that readers are leaders. But does same still apply in this age and time, especially on the African continent, where they say that if you want to hide something from an African man, put it in a book. Chances are he's never going to find it. But the question is, has this affected the youth in any way? Especially now with technology, you basically can get whatever you want online. Talk about material, talk about information. So, it's so sad that the reading culture has been reduced to nothing but a talking point. And if care is not taken, books will become nothing but scrolls and only be found in museums. Welcome to Fafanua Africa. This is a youth-based show where we spotlight the youth, talk about their challenges, and prefer possible solutions to some of the burning questions that they have in mind. Today, we sit with the students and lecturers of Western Delta University. We want to find out what the students think about the reading culture. Should books be scrapped, or should we just rely on technology? I'm Blessings Musugu, your host on the show. Get ready for an insightful one-hour conversation. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to the audience. And very shortly, my panelists will be introducing themselves. But I want to remind you, my name is Blessings Musugu, and I will be hosting this session. The show is called Fafanua Africa, and it basically means redefining Africa, especially for the youths across Africa. So it's a youth-based show. We would like for your input and your contribution. So very quickly, I want my panelists to introduce themselves.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cole Anthony Osage, 500 level student from law.
Thank you, Cole.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Moyo Diden, 400 level international relations student from the College of Social and Management Science.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Okay, so I'm going to set the ball rolling with both of you, and I want to ask a very basic question. Do people still read? What is the ratio of those who are more dependent on technology compared to those who actually read hard copy books?
People still read. People still read a lot. But technology came into existence to help make life easier, yeah? So people, they read. They're like, if you find these books online, the reason people use technology more is because of its accessibility. You get, nobody wants to walk all the way to a library. You get, when you could have it on your phone, just browse it up and you get a PDF copy. This does not in any way remove the importance of hard copy books, because there are a lot of people, we know technology can be very distracting. So there are a lot of people who don't like to read from their devices. They rather print it out in hard copy. So I believe books should still exist for this set of people.
All right. How about you? Do you think that people still read?
The answer is yes. People still read. I mean, if they are students, why won't people still read? So people still read. In as much as a lot of persons will not want to go to the library to make use of the resources there, they can read through different means, like you reading through your phones, and then you can as well read in your hostel rooms, and wherever you are, you can read, because books is made available wherever you are. So it basically does not need, you have to go to the library. But wherever you are, as long as you have books, either in your phones or the hard copies, you can read. Me, for one, like he said, I don't really like reading on my phone. I prefer, the hard copy, but once it's an emergency and I have to read, then my phone is an option. So technology just enhances your reading capabilities. So basically, yes, people still read.
Okay, well, we get now that people still read, but you would all agree with me that there is a diminishing reading culture. That's to say that people no longer read as much as they used to. So I want to throw it open to the audience. Why do you think that the level of reading has dropped, especially with the Gen Z generation? Why is it that some people, a lot of people, no longer like to read books? And by read books, I now literally mean even books on your phone, books
hard copy books. People don't like to read books. They prefer to just scroll through maybe Instagram or YouTube and just pick whatever information they get. So it's open to the audience. Why do you think there is a diminishing reading culture? Let's hear. All right. Someone is here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nigel. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Well, going with their point, they said most people read with their phones. Like she said, she prefers reading with her phones. Now, listening to her, I would like to try that out. Because we Gen Z, we like being influenced by a lot of things. And I said something before. I said that we, this present generation, we don't like oral something, or we don't like something that is written. We like something that is visual. So the reason why many people, they don't read no more is because they don't like something that you'll be reading, written. They don't like written things. They like something they can watch. So if they can, like me, let me use myself as an example. If I want to read or if I want to learn, I don't necessarily go to the library, but I do go to the library sometimes. But I don't read books even if I go to the library. I can take off my phone and go to the YouTube, go to different things just to read. That doesn't mean I'm not reading because I'm not reading a document or reading this, but I read it with visual things. So the reason why many people, they don't read like before, it's because of this this distraction on the phone. If someone is very, very disciplined, I'm very sure they can read. But this phone, if you say you want to read in your hostel with a phone, you'll be so distracted, honestly, because your roommates might not think you are reading. Even if you're saying, I'm reading. The room is meant to make noise, talk, gist, but the library is meant to what? Read. So that building there is for reading. It is not for discussion or any kind of fun. But your room and other places are for those things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone that wants to contribute to what he has said? Do we agree that the reason for the diminishing reading culture is because many youths these days prefer visual things, maybe pictures and videos, as opposed to reading books, as opposed to reading text? Do we agree to that? Does anybody have any opposing view? Okay, someone wants to speak.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Sakpaide Lewis, 500 level law student. On my own opinion, I believe while we have a diminishing return on reading from students, especially because of lack of orientation and discipline, if we have proper orientation that will guide our reasoning, I believe we'll see students reading the way our parents, not really our past, our parents and also our lecturers, they did back in the days. Understand? So when your retention is not there, the discipline is not there, it diminishes students' ability to read. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, someone wants to speak there.
Good day, everyone. My name is Alera. The use of, I have one issue to speak of. You say reading in the library. We should all read in the library as a normal thing. The library closes at 4. And most of us, we normally read at night. The school library is not made available for us. And that's a big issue that has to be solved. The school library opens at 10, closes at 4. And they expect us to go there to go and read when we have classes from 8 down to 5. That's most of the issue most of us have. So it's not like we don't read. It's just the place for us to read is not really there for us. If you say hostel, it's noisy, it's loud. If you say outside, it's also noisy and loud. That special place, library, it's not made available, and that's a major issue we need to solve.
All right, thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Usheshuku Benjamin. I think the question here is, why is there a reduction in the rate at which people read? And why is it so? Why is it so? Is there and why is it so? So we can look it at one end. Is there actually a reduction in the reading culture among people? If you check through history, when books or writing was developed, the first things that were actually developed were literature works from the Sumerian texts. They were literature works, stories, fiction. And that was, can we say, the main reason why writing and reading came was, 1, for entertainment, 2, for keeping in records of information. And most of the times when books were produced or writings were produced, it was mostly for entertainment. Now, bringing it to this our age, we see that people have always been reading as a form of entertainment. So now we have other means of entertainment now, like the television, like the handset. So because of that, you see that people will prefer to use this method to entertain themselves. Remember that reading was majorly for entertainment throughout its history. Now there are other better ways that suit human beings, like your handset. So that's why you see that people will gravitate more towards these areas than towards reading. So can we say that people are still reading, but like it's mostly for entertainment, and that's what people go for. Another thing we are going to take note of this is that when there was a period that reading materials were not easy to come by, it's either people wrote it with their hands. Later there was printing. So we see that the period when books came out to become popular, around that 1600, 1700, 1800, early 1900 towards the late 1900s, we see that what the culture of reading was imbibed by parents. Instead of your child disturbing, oh yeah, go and take a book and read, and leave me. When we were growing up, what did our parents buy for us? They bought for us story books. But nowadays, what do parents buy for their children? Handsets, tablets. It's because of the shift in technology. Technology has always been. But in those days, books were the major means of passing out information. And the culture of reading was imbibed from a young age. So now we see that by the time, because of the technology has shifted to digital aspect, mostly video, and therefore that reading culture has not been imbibed from a young age on children. So that's what I have to say.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I want us to quickly take a statistics, and I really want you to raise your hands, right? How many people can read for 2 hours straight? Yes, please. 2 hours straight. If you can read for 2 hours, let me see your hand up, please. Okay, if you can read for 1 hour, 30 minutes straight, let me see your hand. 1 hour straight. 30 minutes straight. So do we agree, because a lot of youths would argue that the attention span in the youths of this generation is different from the older generation. Do we agree with that? Is there a difference in attention span, or is it just a matter of distraction? So I'm going to start with my panelists. I want to hear what they have to say.
Yes, there's difference in our attention span. Like some of the audiences had said, many people, and these are phone technology, there are other ways to learn besides reading. Like let's say your vocabularies, for example. When you want to learn new vocabularies, most of the times, Gen Zs, as you would call it, they use movies and YouTube videos. You get to learn a lot as you would learn in books from these phones. Many TikToks, like you see youths just going through TikTok. They're going through TikTok and learning a lot from that TikTok. Yeah, so our attention span is not that like big for like reading and stuff like that, yeah? But we still get as much knowledge from our phones through these TikTok videos and things that most adults might consider distracting.
Okay, thank you, Paul. All right.
Okay, for me, I feel the attention span is shifting towards technology, and I would say it's basically because of there's a lot of indiscipline nowadays, even in our institutions, in our schools, there's a lot of indiscipline. You see, instead of lecturers, for instance, advising or pushing the students towards reading and becoming something great and useful in the society tomorrow, they just want to collect bribes from students, and then they call it blocking. So why would a student want to, go through the go through the stress of reading when he can just pay 20K, 10K and all that and pass the course? While will a student who is preparing for WAEC wants to really go through the stress of reading so hard morning and night when there is a miracle center for them to go? A lot of this indiscipline is the reason why attention is being shifted from the habit of reading. And then for me, I believe I'm not that type that can read and read and read and read, but I believe in reading for me to pass my exam, like working to pass all of my exams, and that's what I've been doing over the years. So if I cannot read 4 months before my exams, 3 months before my exams, I can read a month before my exam, 3 weeks before my exam, and I know whatever I read is enough for me. I don't need to go and see any other person for me to pass. It's just reading. So, and another thing again is the fact that this technology, a lot of persons use it in the negative way. Technology can be of the positive and of the negative. And then if you decide to take the negative, it's your loss actually, not mine. Because why this phone, for instance, why you can use it to read, you can also use it to watch movie and wash away your life. But then you will be causing a nuisance to yourself, bringing shame to your family, and not just to the society alone. Because you know this is good. If you know this thing is good, why do you want to deviate from it? You cannot overemphasize the importance of reading. So no matter what you are doing, your attention should be there. Your focus should be on reading. Do not let technology, take you away from that reading habits. Do not let it be. Reading is important, and you need it to be successful in life. So either you are reading with your phone, you are reading the hard copies, or you are learning online. But do not stop reading because it's very important.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I want to quickly ask about the attention span. Does anybody else have anything to say about the attention span? Like, is it true that the attention span of youths are shorter these days than it used to be before? Does anybody have anything to say about that?
Thank you, presenter and the panelists. I just want to add that it is an open fact that before now it has always been said that you want to hide anything from an African, you put it in books, because the African does not read. And that has been the case. But our current realities has even made it worse, because we are now in a system that does not give primacy to reading. We have become so materialized, so material conscious, to the extent you hardly find those who have spent time reading getting something commensurate with what effort they have put into reading or studying. A case in point is what you have on our different entertainment industries. For instance, you find what they call the Big Brother Nigeria. People who have not read, who don't read, they come out with millions of naira. And when it comes to the quizzes that you have other organizations organizing for students, pupils, they get them assets. At best, they get them 4-figure tables. Whereas the person who has gone to entertain the world on profanities is getting something very big, and you expect this other one to go and start reading. Why should I read? Why not just make myself beautiful? And at the end of the day, I get the kind of money, hundreds of millions that they are getting over there. So that is one of the factors that's made most students, young ones, the Gen Z, as it's presently called, not to want to have much to do with what? With books. Again, when you are reading, especially for the few who are still interested in reading from their phones, their laptops and all, once their friends see them online, they think they are there to play games, to chat with people. They now start bombarding them with messages. Even when you are doing something more important, that message comes and you want to respond. Before you know it, your interest is no longer in what you were reading. You now want to continue in that line of conversation your friend just passed over to you by means of what the so-called gadgets you are using. And that, again, shortens one's attention. That individual ought to have paid to that studies. Look around us. The gadgets, again, we are using. Gadgets that ought to have helped us to improving our lives. The Gen Z has turned that into a money-making machines. In our society, for instance, what you find are so many G-boys, Yahoo boys, who don't even know how to read. But these Yahoo boys drive the best cars, they build the best houses, they get the best kind of clothes, and so on. Whereas the few who are interested in reading are there, trying to get what to wear, trying to get what to eat. Now, when you are in a society that places emphasis on materialism, What do you tell the other individual who is trying to elongate his span in reading? That keep reading, that your tomorrow will be better. No, the system is also at fault. So when we blame the generation, let us also blame the system, because there's a complete paradigm shift. That's my take.
Thank you very much. Okay, very quickly, I would like for the librarian to address something that the student said earlier, and that points to my next question. We're talking about the system now. What are the things that the system can put in place to ensure that the reading culture does not die? For example, in the school, someone mentioned that people want to read, but the library closes at 4. So it's more like leaving them to their phones to go find whatever material they can get, as opposed to allowing them to use the library resources. And I think that applies to every facet of the society, where the government is encouraging the student, or the society is encouraging students to read, but there are no there are no available resources for them to maximize. There are no public libraries as much anymore. You only find in schools, and then everybody is left to rely on their phones. So I don't know if the librarian is around. I'd like for them to address that.
I'm Honorable Kelvin. The library and librarians, they are doing a lot to improve readership in Nigeria. The problem with most students that has been pointed out by the previous speaker are also affecting the library, even though the library are doing much to improve reading. Every organization has challenges and things that will hold them back, but they try to overcome those challenges. So closing by 4 at times is a particular challenge we are having here, and we are working to improve on that, so that the students can, even at that, there's online resources available for students to read. So library is a virtual system now. It's not a place to read per se these days. Library is a virtual place where the staff there provide materials online. Anywhere you are, whether in London, Abuja, everywhere, you can also access material to read, even through the library, or library portal. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay.
In addition, my name is Dr. Oghara, the head of the University Library. In addition to what he has said, the university has invested millions of naira in acquiring electronic resources. We are subscribed to databases such as EBSCOs, Gestor, ProQuest, so many of them. So the library is beyond the four walls. Students can actually have access to our resources, even in the comfort of their hostels at home. They can log onto our electronic libraries. They have access to our electronic books, and so on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, so I think I want to say something else. She said most times the library is open from 10 to 4, and these are the time where classes are going on. So you don't expect somebody that has class to just go to the library between those times. So, and I know very well that for most workers, their working hour is like 9 to 4, and then they have to go home. But I think for the library, something else has to be done, either for them to extend the closing time, so that if it is even an hour or 2, students can go there and read. Because in as much as there is an electronic library, a lot of students still prefer to go to the forwards, go to the library, and get these hard copies there to read, not using their electronics. And then you talk about electronics, most times the issue of network is a problem. So how can we access this electronic library with these challenges? So something else has to be done. Either the closing time should be extended for students to access the library, not just through electronic means. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, you're still watching Fafanua Africa. We take a short break. We're talking about reading culture. When we come back, the conversation continues, so don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for staying with us on Fafanua Africa. We are live here at Western Delta University, and we're trying to get the students' view about the reading culture. What is the reason for the diminishing reading culture, and what can be done about it? Also, can you get every material you need online? These are the questions we're asking, and we're hoping to get answers right after the show. If you're just joining us, you've missed a little, but you haven't missed everything. So we'll continue the conversation. I have my amazing panelists, and of course, we have the wonderful audience as well. So I'm going to throw this question to the audience, and I need you to answer. Do you think that you can get every material you need online? This is what we're going to do. Some people said yes. I'm coming, panelists, right? I need to find out those people that said no, and we want to talk. Can you get everything you need online?
It is not possible to have everything online. There are some books that are called classics. These books were predated modern technologies. Although they have translated some, or rather put some online, there are many that are still not online. Of recent, I published a book. That book is titled Fela's Humanism and the Problem of Political Corruption in Nigeria. The hard copies are all over. If you go online searching for that book, will you find it? No, because it is not online. And we have colleagues that can attest to this. So many of them have publications that are hard copies that are yet to be put online. It might take a while. Some go online immediately, but some take a while. So if you need that book today, or that journal today, and it's not already online, how do you get it? So you cannot justifiably say all that you need can be gotten online.
Just to add to what he has said, books, whether electronics or print, are intellectual property of people. They want to make money from it. So nobody write book and just put it for free online. And these books are very, very expensive. That's where the library comes in. The library will pay on behalf of students and its reading community for you to access. So most material, they are closed, even though they are online. So you have to subscribe for you to pay. And if you want to subscribe individually, you have to pay a lot. So most material online, but they are closed. So back to your question that, can you access every material online? Just as I said, not every material, especially classical books, but modern books that are written, they are online. And they are very, very expensive. Especially medical books and law books, very, very expensive. You can buy one book for 120,000 naira, even more than. So the library acquired these materials for students to borrow and use. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much once again. My name is Louis, and I believe, in addition to what my lecturers have said, as a law student, we usually do approach the library because most of our resource materials I got from the library. And if you want to get them online, they are kind of difficult. They are expensive and all to subscribe to them. So I believe you cannot get even some textbooks that we have written by some legal luminaries and all. You cannot get them online. You need to get them through hard copies. You need to purchase them physically and all. And secondly, in regards to what one of my comrades said, one of the students, about the library. In Western Delta University, you see that the library, as she said, closes by 4, and the students do not have enough time to approach the library. At least you can agree with me that from 8 to 4, we don't have full attention of classes. You might have breaks. So during those breaks, you can approach the library. And if you know you want to get materials from the library or through your e-resources, you make sure that during those breaks, you approach the library, you get what you need. It's all about time management. You understand? Because of the circumstance of the university and what we are facing today, these persons, they are working class people, they have families, and they cannot just leave, or you cannot just say, oh, they will stay till 6, 7, and they have to go back home. Some of them have coming from far. You understand? So the circumstance of the environment is why the timing is that way. At the law college, we have the opportunity to be closing by 5, 6. That's the librarians. That's because they reside there in the community. You understand? So to get real resource persons, of which our university have credible librarians. It's very, very hard. And the distance from the school to their places are very far. So they need to go home. You understand? So time management is very key. Once you know that you don't have classes, you approach the library, you get the resources you need on time. And if you can't get them, you get them through e-resources. That's why technology has been made available to us to make life easier. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A round of applause for him, please. So I want to try something. I need a very bold student that can boldly defend the fact that you can get, even if not everything, at least 90% of the things you need online. Who's going to help me out? Who can boldly defend the fact that you can get most of the things you need online? Anybody? I see people talking under their breath. Okay. I have one very bold student here.
Hello, everybody. I'm not saying that you can get everything online, but the main reason we go online is because the library doesn't have the books we are looking for. That's why we go online. For example, Hidden Fact. Hidden Fact is a book, physics and maths. The library said they are going to provide everything needed for us to study in that library. But most of the books we need are not even in that library. Hidden Fact is a very good book that helps us in maths and physics. Yeah, we can't find it in the library. So instead, we go online. And we can't find it in the online. So we have to go through the market, go and find it ourselves and buy. So that's another major issue. Our library is not complete. The books in there are not complete. The e-library of all, we have an e-library, but the laptops are all off. They're not working. They're either disconnected, not plugged. During time we did computer lectures, we needed help for computer. Yet we did not see the computer to use, and we have e-library. That issue needs to be sorted out. And yes, of course, we can find 90%. The 10% are like journals, all these books for reading, advanced books, like law books, advanced books made by advanced people. Book is very expensive though. So we can get 90%, that's all, 90 from different websites.
Please, a round of applause for her. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to throw this question to my panelists, but I'm still going to come back to ask everyone here. Do you think that, do you think that the use of a library and reading hard books affects students' performances, academic excellence, their critical thinking skills? Do you think it has anything to do with, the reading culture, especially reading hard books, going to the library to read? Or do you think someone can heavily depend on technology and still do pretty well?
For me, it's do whatever works for you. If it's the library, if you need hard copy, if that's the way you can read and excel, do it. And if it is technology, if you have to use your phone or whatever electronic means to read and excel, then do it. So I cannot tell you that it's because you are reading through electronic means, that's why you are not getting what you need to get. And I can also say because you are going to the library is the reason why you are excelling more than your mates. So whatever works for you, as long as you get what you need to get from it, use it.
All right. Please, a round of applause for her.
Like my colleague has said, the library and technology are not without forces. They are not acting in opposition to each other. They rather complement each other. Anyone you use, it doesn't matter, as long as you are getting the knowledge. If you feel you can get it more from PDFs or videos, for example, which is more visual, fine. If you're going to, I've seen many people pass by just watching YouTube videos, do like extraordinary things, like, for example, in physics, create power banks. I know somebody who learned Photoshop from YouTube. Would you say the person did not learn? The person learned very well. So technology is still very active in, getting knowledge, because I think that's the whole point of reading. So anyone that works for you, if you can read it, read it. If you can watch it, watch it.
All right, thank you. All right, very quickly, I want to ask this question, and I'll start with the panelists, but I need about 5 people from the audience that will give me, we have established now that it is important to read. So I want us to have that conversation. don't forget, it's a conversational show. So I want at least 5 people from the audience to prepare their answers. Tell me why you think that it's important to read, what reading can do for you as a youth, because you are the youth. So I need to hear from you what you think that reading does or doesn't do. But I'll start with the panelists. What do you think is the importance of reading? I mean, reestablishing the reading culture, especially for the younger generation.
Okay, the foremost thing why a lot of persons read is to gain knowledge. You read because you want to gain knowledge as to what is happening around you, what has been in existence, and also for future purposes. So one of the importance of you can get while reading is that you get knowledge. So basically, the impact of reading is knowledge, right? Yes, so you get knowledge from reading, and then over time, it exposes you to hidden secrets. Because if you don't read, how would you know what's happening? So you reading actually exposes you to hidden secrets. So it's only through reading that you can unlock these secrets. So basically, it's to get knowledge. I think that's the most important thing. Get knowledge and then know how to apply it in your day-to-day life.
Like my colleague has said, reading helps you to be more exposed. It helps you to experience, for example, like fictional reading. It helps you to experience, a place that ordinarily you would not have been. You get to understand how other parts of society works and how other aspects and, philosophies come about. But I want to say something about the over-reading. Yeah, I think the whole reading, that's too much of knowledge cannot actually be too bad, because I feel like that's what helps development and societal growth. If our forefathers them have been like, okay, let's not have too much knowledge, let's not abuse reading, then perhaps we will not have gotten to where we are today. Because the gadgets we are using, the handphone and everything we're using, in the medieval times, around 1800s, it was considered to be witchcraft. Yeah, people would see this as blasphemy and heresy. But because of the growth of knowledge, and we've understood that science and everything has grown to a certain extent, we're able to see that, okay, it's not abuse of reading at this point, it's just use of knowledge. For people who go to YouTube and learn surgeries and feel like, wow, they're not experts, I think there's this campaign online about what they call false experts, who just come online, maybe they read something and then they just feel like they're experts. I think that's not really a problem when it comes to technology. I think that's the abuse of the knowledge that someone has. Then for the importance of reading, it helps you to be more exposed, it helps you to be more collected, it helps you to be more composed, it helps you to be able to pass your information properly and matter in the society. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So now I need to hear from 5 people in the audience. Why do you think it's important to read, to bring back the reading culture? Now, this time, whether it's hard copy or soft copy, online, whatever, but we agree that the reading culture is diminishing. So why do you think it's important for the young people, the Gen Zs, to read? Anyone? Come on. I need answers. Okay.
Thank you very much. I feel like it's important, and I know it's important to read, because in everything you want to do, you have to read. Firstly, if you buy a car, there's a manual, right? Anything you buy, you see a manual. You come to school to learn. You're learning something. Everything, you need to read something. So he said, even if it's online or YouTube and stuff, if you don't read, you will not be good at anything. You will just be there like an average human. Not for average human, worst human, I would say. Because you will not be good at anything. You will just be living your life that people will tell you, okay, it's like this is how they do it. Oh, okay, finish. That's how you just be living your life. You'll be like people you look like all these ancient people. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but you look like people from the past. Like that's why I feel it's important.
Thank you very much. Any other person? Why do you think it's important to read? Okay.
Reading brings knowledge, and knowledge brings confidence. there are people who read for different purposes, and if you want to grow in anything you want to do, you continue to read about that thing and develop it. So reading brings confidence, and for you to manage yourself and excel in that area, you need continuous knowledge. As a student, for you to go out of university with a good result, you have to read continuously and prepare for your exams. When you go to the exam hall, you'll be so confident, you'll be laughing at the questions they said, and you just come out with flying colors. For people who want to work in organizations, for you to grow and be relevant in organization, you need to read. You need to be relevant. People who are given responsibility in organizations are people who have ideas, and that those ideas come from reading. Without reading, you will not be anywhere in anywhere. You will not be recognized. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Someone.
Good morning, everyone. I feel everyone should cultivate the habit of reading. It's very, very paramount. Reading not only is necessary, but it broadens your knowledge. You don't just read, maybe you concentrate on one part or one particular aspect. Reading will open you to so many things you thought not to know. It's not just about online stuffs, and you see books you read, see materials you read. They will probably touch some places you never expect to know, things about the world, not just only on your field of studies. So I will say reading is very, very good. It's good to encourage reading. The Gen Z should cultivate the habit of reading. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other person? Why do you think it's necessary to read? Okay.
Okay, I think we as youth or teenagers, reading is very, very important because there are some things we need to learn, like personal development, books on finances, personal development, how to learn public speaking. Like John Obidi was talking about when he was in school, he was one of the best programmers. But during his graduation, he discovered that most of the successful people, they are not programmers. They read books on public speaking, finances, welfare, and other stuff. Even Ali Baba, I know we know comedian Ali Baba, he was talking about from childhood, he's a good reader, that his father gives him books. He does not read books that his mates read. He reads books that develop, because the amount of information we consume depends on how we behave and how we portray ourselves. So for me, I think reading is very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who else? We need two more persons. Why do you think it's important to read?
Okay, I'll say reading is very, very important because there are actually different reasons as to why we read. You can read for leisure and also read to gain understanding. Leisure in the sense that, okay, you want to pass the time, just exercise and relax your brain after the whole stress of the day. Then also reading to gain more knowledge, improve your communication skills, improve on your vocabulary, and also to learn more about life around you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Who else? Okay, I'm coming.
Okay. Reading is very important because it helps you to gain more knowledge, and reading literature can help you know other culture. Like people like traveling around the world, learning culture of other people and helping them to interact with others. But I can sit at the comfort of my room and read and learn about other cultures without traveling. So eventually when I go outside, it's easier for me to interact with a foreigner. So reading builds up your brain, and reading is very helpful. When you read, you accumulate lots of things, unknowingly and even knowingly. Reading, you might, like, you say you want to read this particular thing, but you end up learning another thing. So it's actually very important.
Thank you very much.
Hello. Reading is actually important for us all. But the question is, how do we read? How are we reading? Like now, they said that some people read and come out with flying colors and all that. Do they read to understand, or do they just read to pass? That's my question. Most of us, we read 3 days to exam, and we say we read. We normally read because we want to pass, but most of us forgot that reading was actually meant for us to understand what we're going to do, understand how to flow with things. And you don't imagine a nurse, somebody studying nursing, learning about injections. He read about it, knows everything about how to give injection. But when doing it, does a different thing. That kind of thing is very painful. I've experienced that kind of pain. So the question is, it's not all about, reading is very important, but the main thing is that we should all read to understand, to learn, to gain more knowledge. I read nursing, but I like to read books from other courses because I don't just want to read about my nursing. I just want to learn more about the world. Thank you.
All right, thank you. A round of applause for her, please. Okay, very quickly, I want to ask a question, and please raise your hand if you can resonate. How many of you are certain that after this degree you want to get another one? I want to see your hand if you're confident about it. You're very sure you want to get another degree after this? Okay, so I want to ask why you think you should get another degree. Just tell me why.
Because I think it's important to broaden your aspect of, just because you have one degree does not mean that you should just stop there. You should go ahead and widen your ability and see other senses and aspects of life.
All right. A round of applause, please. Okay. You want to tell us why? Okay, so I want to direct this question to our lecturers here. It's one thing to read and get degrees, but it's another thing to get jobs after you're done studying. And that's one thing that is like a discouraging factor for the youth these days, because a lot of times they're like, what's the point? Reading and learning, and then you end up an unemployed youth, God forbid. So what do you think the government can do, the society, the nation at large can do to encourage students to learn, to actually want to, because the number of dropouts we have now is a lot, and it's because a lot of times it's not encouraging. Some people even say that schooling is a waste of time. So what do you think the government can do to encourage youths?
I think one of the areas I've always looked at to encourage youth participation, or to give youth opportunity to be gainfully employed, is in the National Youth Service Scheme. I feel that scheme is not properly utilized. The scheme is not bringing out what it ought to bring out for the nation. We are now at a time when the prices of food has gone overboard. Homes are finding it difficult to feed in a country that has arable land, in a country where the climate is so agriculture friendly. Why can't we channel the energy of our youths leaving universities into such ventures? You must not necessarily read agricultural science. Once you establish farms based on areas of comparative advantage that you find around the country, each geopolitical zone has an area of comparative advantage. Open very large farms, establish large farms there. Make these places habitable. Let there be schools in there. Let there be electricity. Let there be recreation centers in the farms. So many youths will want to go to the farms to work. And while working, you will have those who have the agricultural knowledge doing the production. You have those who read accounting, handling the financial side. You have those who read human resources management, handling the managerial side, and everybody at the end of the day will have something doing. If we have this all around the country, I tell you, more than half of people that are unemployed today will be employed, and produce from there can be repackaged and even sent out outside the country. It gives us foreign exchange. And you, again, reinvest that money into the same enterprise. And before you know it, Nigeria becomes a productive nation. It is this production that has kept our youth unemployed. If we can encourage production, we will not have a youth who is willing to work not having work. So the government has all it takes to changing that narrative. Thank you.
Okay, very quickly, I want to ask my panelists what they think. I want to hear from the youths themselves. What do you think that the government can do to encourage the reading culture, to encourage people to school and learn generally?
Okay, like my lecturer had said, many youths nowadays no longer find school or reading to be very exciting because society in itself has been so positioned that books are not what makes trend anymore. It's more money and material things, yes? If our government can create a sort of a surety, for example, like he said, creating jobs after school. Many of us here, many youths have this fear of employment after school. Okay, so you go to school now, you study law for 5 years, or you study accounting for 5 years, or business admin for 4 years. What are you going to do afterwards? Yeah? Many youths have that as our fears, you get. So if the government can create a more assuring society and make book a priority, you get, make learning, the knowledge you learned, if they don't put it to waste, if the government can do that for us, I'm very sure many people will be geared towards reading and archiving knowledge than crimes. And
all right, a round of applause.
For me, for government to encourage reading culture, for instance, one of my lecturers made an example of BB Niger, how the prize for the winner is usually very, very large and then very inviting. But when it comes to academic issues, you see them giving out prizes of 10,000, 5,000, and what will 5,000 or 10K do for you after using all of your energy and brain to read and come out first? So I believe government should, encourage readers by putting on some prizes as for the best 3 winners also. So it should not just be like, oh, come and give me a handshake for being the best in this reading competition, a handshake. Your handshake is not what I need in life. I need you to place me where. I need you to give me something that will encourage me so that when there is another competition, I can walk and go for it. Because why will I want to go and go to a reading competition where you will give me 5K for being the best when I can just go to one other program, maybe a beauty contest where they will give me 10 million. You get, so they should make the price tag for reading enticing to encourage readers. And then secondly, there should be a placement. I think there should be a placement. The government should make available placement for fresh graduates, because you don't expect me to read my life out in school for 4 years or 6 years, and when I come, I have to start carrying my certificate from one office to the other. But if government makes placement for probably you coming out with a first class, a 2-1, 2-2 like that, you know that your job is secured for you. You don't need to go job hunting. That will encourage the younger generations to be the best they can be, and then also imbibe the culture of reading.
Thank you.
Also, I believe placement of libraries in strategic points in every community would also go a long way to assist and encourage people to read more. Let's say, for example, somewhere like Oghara, you don't really see a library that the community people, because when we're talking about reading now, it's not just for the people in school and graduates. People that's the regular people who live in communities should also have access to these books and libraries. If the government can place libraries and book clubs in certain strategic points in society, I think it will also go a long way to encouraging reading.
A round of applause, please. All right, very quickly, I want us all to carry out this exercise. I would ask a question, and if you agree, you say aye. If you don't agree, you say nay. I need you to echo your answer as though you're the only one answering. Are we ready? Okay, so if you believe that technology can be a major distraction, especially for reading, say aye. If you believe that it is not a distraction, say nay. Nay. Okay. The nays have it. Now, if you believe that the government is doing enough when it comes to encouraging reading culture and learning culture generally, say aye. If you believe that they need to do more, say nay. Now, if you believe that readers are leaders, say aye. If you believe otherwise, say nay. Okay. It's been a very interesting conversation right here at Western Delta University. You find out that the reading culture is not the problem, but the circumstances surrounding the reading culture. So this is an appeal to the government, the society, and the country at large to enable the reading and the learning culture for the youth. It's been amazing with my panelists and, of course, the amazing audience. Thank you so much for being a part of this. My name is Blessings Mosugu. See you on the next episode.